Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. Welcome to my top 10 best movies of 2022. Fucking right. This year has been, well, it's been a year. Personally, we all know, but for movies, it's been okay. Pretty decent. There's been some movies that I've loved. There's been a lot I've hated, though. I'll be getting to that list after. But for the best, these are my personal best. These are my favorite movies of 2022. This is my list. It's my list. My list. People might disagree. People might hate some of these movies or think they're overrated or just like, what? Really? That? But not that? You didn't put that movie? But you put this movie? It's my list. It's my list. Let's get to it. Before I get to my top 10 list, I have a couple honorable mentions. I want to talk about movies that I really, really enjoyed, but they just couldn't quite make that top 10 list. First one is Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Really enjoyed it. Thought it was dark, brutal, depressing, really crazy. One of the most insane Pinocchio movies I've ever watched. Really enjoyed it. I'm a Guillermo del Toro fan. I thought he did a great job. Visually, the music, the tone, really solid. Probably the best animated film of the year. For most people. The next one is Hustle, the Netflix movie. Another Adam Sandler movie that I really dug. I loved this movie about him being a sports agent and trying to find this guy. He wants to be like a coach for the 76ers and stuff. This talks a lot about the stress that these people go through. People like sports agents and recruiters and stuff. It goes really deep into the basketball industry and stuff. Really loved this movie. Loved Adam Sandler. Loved the script. Really enjoyed the whole world of the NBA and stuff I never knew because I don't watch the NBA. I don't know anything about the NBA. This movie made me very invested with the NBA, so kudos to Hustle. Next is Weird, the Yali Yankovic story. I am so sorry I said all of that wrong. Yes, Weird Al. Weird Al. There, he did his own biopic in a way. It's like a satire of biopics. Daniel Radcliffe was great in this movie. Loved it. Super weird, super funny. It was almost like watching just a Weird Al movie, but it's about Weird Al. But yeah, it was weird, crazy, hilarious. Really enjoyed it. Next is a movie called Fall. I dug the shit out of this movie. This movie gave me legit anxiety watching it. It was just like, holy fucking shit. Like, it's literally just with these two girls who climb this huge pole and they get stuck up there, and it's anxiety inducing. The way it's filmed, I thought the two actresses were both great. I just had a lot of fun and a lot of excitement off this thriller. I know it's kind of a silly movie to have, but I don't know. I dug the shit out of it. One of my favorites of the year. The movie that almost made the top 10 list is Michelle Yeoh and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Probably the best multiverse movie of the year. Yeah, fuck you, Doctor Strange. This movie was great. It was kick-ass. Michelle Yeoh was awesome. Short Round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is in this movie, and he is awesome. The world building, the crazy world she goes through, the action, the brutality, the dark comedy, everything just works beautifully in this film. Absolutely loved it. Almost made the top 10 list. Let's get to my number 10. My number 10 is a complete bias because I love this anime, and it is my favorite animated film of the year. That is Dragon Ball Super Superhero. I fucking know. I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan. I love Dragon Ball Z. I love Dragon Ball, and I even love Dragon Ball Super. This movie was great. It gave me everything I wanted in a Dragon Ball movie. And it focused all on Gohan and Piccolo, characters that I want them to focus more on, because they do movies mostly about Goku or Vegeta. Vegeta is my favorite character. Who doesn't love Goku? But, focus more on the side characters. The characters that deserve more time. Piccolo and Gohan, great characters. The father-son relationship that we all love from the series. I love it. They brought back the Red Ribbon Army. The animation is stellar. The action, the fight sequences is great. And it just adds more to the show of Dragon Ball Super. I loved everything about this. I loved going to the theater and watching it and have a great time. I watched this movie in the English dub and the sub. Both were great. Definitely one of my favorites of the year. Number 9 I don't think anyone's going to have this movie, and it sucks because this movie was fantastic. Devotion. Devotion was a great war movie about brotherhood, brutality, and prejudice in the war. The flying sequences alone were breathtaking, but the characters, the performances, the writing, the pacing, all the war sequences was done stunningly. I was enthralled. I was intense throughout the whole movie. Really enjoyed it. Had a lot of heart and emotionality. Loved every second of it. Not a perfect movie, but definitely one of my favorites of the year. All right, coming to number 8 is Ron Howard's 13 Lives. Another movie a lot of people might call it like an Oscar baiting movie. I really dug it. I love that this is a story about all these young boys in Thailand who go into this cave, and then when this flood happens, they're stuck in this cave for 2 weeks and stuff. And it's up to these divers, some of the best divers in the world, to get them out of this cave. It is an intense and fascinating story because it's a true story. It's a story I didn't know anything about. I'm sorry, I'm not very caught up on the news nowadays, or back in the day. I am a little more nowadays. Enough about me, but still. I love the story about these divers, and they have to find a way to get these kids and their coach out of these caves. They're flooding, and they're gonna die if they stay in there. Not even just from the flooding, but from starving to death. It is an intense movie. It's packed full of heart-pounding scenes, emotionality, and actually interesting characters. I really loved Viggo Mortensen and Joel Edgerton in this film. They were both solid. Colin Farrell was in this movie too. Everybody was really good, and I just found this story just fascinating. It was 2 hours and 20 minutes, but I was just so fascinated. It flew by for me. That's why I loved it. Anyways, number 7. Number 7 is The Northman. The Northman is a Viking, brutal, dark, sick, and violent movie that I fucking loved. Fucking Alexander Skarsgård was kick-ass in this movie. Willem Dafoe is just, Willem Dafoe in the movie. The direction, the brutality, the action, the cinematography, the music. This movie is just made for people who love bloody, gory Viking movies. Sign me up. And I did sign up for it. And I watched it 2 times after it came out at theaters, and I still thought it was kick-ass. Love The Northman. One of my favorites. Number 6, The Banshees of Inisherin. The Banshees of Inisherin was a really great dark comedy about friendship, but not the beginning or the blossoming of a friendship, but the ending of a friendship. You don't know why until you actually watch the story, and it is a gripping, very dark, very serious at times, but also very funny at times, interesting story. Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson, both fantastic in this movie, and what really makes me love this movie is the dialogue, the writing, the conversations these characters had. Surely? Who the fuck am I talking about? Anyways, I was just very invested in this movie with these 2 characters and the friendship that is being lost, and you just want to know why. Why is this happening? What's going on? What's happening? And then it gets to the 3rd act, and you find out all the reasons, everything, what's been leading up to it. It's just so satisfying. I'm like, oh, that's what this is about. Damn! Really great movie, and it's Martin McDonagh, who, for the most part, I enjoy a lot of his movies. Definitely one of his best films, though. Really, really, really enjoyed it. Number 5 is, I think it's a Korean movie, Decision to Leave. I saw Decision to Leave about a month and a half ago, and I forgot to do a quick movie review of it. Loved this movie. This movie is directed by, Park Chan-wook? Is that his name? Park Chan-wook? The guy who did The Handmaiden and stuff. Did he do Oldboy? I don't know. I'm terrible with names, I guess. This is a great movie. This is a fantastic, murder mystery kind of thing. It's about an investigator who's investigating this murder of this man. And, he fell off a cliff and stuff, and he's investigating his wife, but then he kind of starts, a romance with his wife. And then you find out, maybe his wife's not all there and stuff. This movie is so intense. I loved it. The performances by everybody was amazing. And the conclusion to this movie was incredible. And there's even some sprinkles of dark comedy that I really liked. But this movie just had me invested. And I just really, really dug the shit out of it. And I think it's definitely one of the most intriguing films of the year. So definitely check this one out. Decision to Leave. Number 4. An underrated movie. And it's Canadian. Hey! Just like me. Bandit. I loved this movie. I fucking dug the shit out of this movie. No one saw it, and I know everyone was probably thinking it's like this lame, like kind of straight to streaming service crap fest of a film. No, this movie's great. It's a great comedy and a great heist movie. This movie is about a true story about a Canadian heist man. Well, he's American, but he moved to Canada and he robbed all these banks throughout all of Canada and all the provinces of Canada. And he did it all without a gun or any weapons. He did it with costumes and notes and other things. And that's how he did it. And it's such a fascinating story. And I loved watching it. And then he befriends a crime boss played by Mel Gibson in the movie. And he needs his help to see if so he doesn't get captured by the cops and stuff, because Mel Gibson in the movie knows powerful people and stuff. The story was just so interesting and funny and engaging, and I just loved watching it. I'm just like, this movie is great. Why is no one talking about this movie? I'm talking about it, and I'm saying right now, one of my favorites of the year. Fucking loved Bandit. Alright, number 3. The most emotional and probably the most important film of the year, The Whale. Darren Aronofsky, I don't think a single one of his movies would have ever made my top 10 lists. Maybe The Wrestler. That was a good movie, but this movie was an emotional, powerful, impactful film. This movie reminded me a lot about my father. This movie also reminded me a lot about other things in my life. And it was an incredible watch. Brendan Fraser is amazing. Probably the best performance from anyone this year is Brendan Fraser in this movie. Give him that Oscar. He is incredible in this film. The writing, the direction, the whole message of the movie is very deep, very profound, and extremely important. This movie really hit home with me, and it really just got to me, and it's definitely one of the best films of the year. Definitely see this movie when you can. Number 2, one of the biggest blockbusters of this year, and I don't know if anyone expected this movie to be this big, Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick was a fucking blast. Probably the most fun I had in a movie this entire fucking year. Amazing. Tom Cruise, he's back. Well, he's always been amazing, but he's back as Maverick, kicking ass with the plane. The plane sequences are incredible. All real, all practical. I love the simplistic story. I love the new characters they bring in. I just adored this movie. The action, the pacing, and it's something we needed. Because the pandemic was just kind of ending, and we needed a movie to bring our spirits back. Top Gun Maverick did that. Easily the best film. One of the best films of the year. Number 1. Guarantee not a single person will have this as their number 1. I have it as my number 1. And that is Vengeance. Vengeance is an amazing film for me. I loved it. This is probably my only 10 out of 10 this year. Maybe Top Gun. I think Top Gun. Did I give Top Gun a 10 out of 10? I don't fucking remember. Anyways. Vengeance was great. I love this movie. I love this whole story. Did a whole review of it. I could talk about this movie for hours, but BJ Novak, I'm looking forward to anything he does and anything he does in his future film. I want to see his next directed film because I fucking love this movie so much. It's the only movie where I actually loved Ashton Kutcher in. BJ Novak, you gave a good performance. You got a good performance out of Ashton Kutcher, and you made him one of the best characters in a movie this year. I applaud you for that. Vengeance, best movie of the year. It's my favorite. So yeah, those are my top 10 best movies of 2022. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with this top 10 list. If not, give me your guys' top 10s. What is your favorite film of 2022? And look forward to the next one. I'll be doing the worst. Comment below. Let me know. And as always, like this video. Please subscribe to this channel and join the dark side.